It is about time the Miami Heat decided, you know what's a good idea? Let's go ahead and make sure Kel'el Ware gets more playing time on this roster. Look, we're trying to figure out the situation with Jimmy Butler. We don't know if we want him back or if we want to trade him. We're still trying to figure that out. However, at the same time, we've got Bam Adebayo, who, loves to play his position, playing center, but it would make his job easier if we can put a big guy like Kel'el Ware, who is, I believe, is 7 foot, has like a 7'3", 7'4" wingspan. If we can get them building chemistry or just learning behind Bam, that might help our future. And in today's NBA, if you want to stay relevant, competitive, and you want to have a bench that can contribute, you've got to give your rookies more playing time because once you reach that second A brain, you're restricted on what moves you can make. And then you're left with a bench if you haven't developed those young guys. You're thin, you have no depth, and your star players start to wear down. So when you look at a team like the Orlando Magic, for example, they're playing Anthony Black, giving him a bigger role since last season. He's getting more responsibilities, and you're seeing him grow and continue to get better as a basketball player. Even Neemias Queta for the Celtics. Yes, he's had his struggles, but he's looking sharper as the season progresses. The reason why I bring up these two examples is because as we move towards an NBA where you have to be smarter with your money, that you have to figure out, okay, we got to pay our top guys because they're going to get the most money out of our salaries and out of our cap. Then we have to make sure if we got players that we drafted, they got to step right in and figure it out because we can't pay everybody. We can't bring a caliber bench player. It's not going to be realistic all the time. So I want to talk about Kel'el Ware because these aren't like the best numbers in the world, but I like to see progress. And as you can see, I know it's not a ton of minutes, but hey, thank God at least getting 14 minutes. Now it's up to 18 minutes this month. I mean, I love seeing this. Now, I know the numbers aren't perfect, but look at January 10 points, 4 rebounds. Obviously, I think the rebounds will get better. He's getting some blocks. He got 3 blocks in one game at 25 points, shooting 50% from three. Now, obviously, that's a small sample size, but what I like here is that he's getting reps. And I've been waiting for the Heat to finally say, let's give Ware an opportunity. And he's showcasing that he can contribute, whether he's getting rebounds, blocking shots, or scoring off the dribble, or not scoring off the dribble, but scoring for alley-oop dunks, yada, yada, yada. That's a good sign because Miami needs front court help. And you got to have somebody besides Bam carrying this roster. If you can get Ware next to Bam Adebayo, you're going to have a really good front court for years to come, assuming Ware pans out, but you don't know if you don't play him. So I like the fact his minutes are going up. I like the fact he's been playing on this road trip and they've been winning all the games. I think they play the Clippers tonight. We'll see how they fare, but you're 3-1 on this road trip, and Ware is contributing, and that's only going to build his confidence. So shout out to the Heat. Finally, I've been waiting for this. I've been hoping that, hey, give this man an opportunity. Let's see what Kel'el Ware can do for the Miami Heat, because at the end of the day, you're going to need depth. You're going to need guys in the regular season who can step in for 15 minutes a night. I mean, look at the New York Knicks, for example. They don't have a bench, and they're playing Brunson, Hart, Mikal Bridges, Anunoby, Towns 40-plus minutes a night. And there are games they look like trash probably because they're tired. They have tired legs. So you don't want to put your team in a situation where if you're trying to compete and, get to a point where you make a deep playoff run, where you play your guys 35 plus minutes, you don't give your younger guys an opportunity because that's where the NBA is probably going to head, where you're not going to see like veteran guys able to come on a contending team to help them out because they don't have the money to pay them. So when it comes to the Heat, you got to realize, we got to give our young guys an opportunity. It's not like they can't develop guys. They've shown that in the past. And, you got Bam under contract until I think 2029 season. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to stay happy, because you have to recognize if you're moving off Jimmy Butler, you got to find a number one option. That is Miami's next move. You have to figure out who's our superstar. Who are we going to bring in to build around Bam and our other role players and fringe all-star players, assuming Tyler Hero becomes an all-star player. Because I know Bam has been struggling from the field. I don't think that's going to be a recurrence going forward. I think eventually he'll pick it up, and I think his true shooting percentage will get back to normal. He's just going through a regular season, and there are times where players just go through struggles. They have bad seasons. We saw this with Westbrook with the Lakers, where he just had a bad year, and then he moved off the Lakers, got bounced around. He's been playing really well with Jokic. in Denver. Sometimes you just go through struggles, and I think Bam will be fine. I'm not worried about his offense, but we can't rely on Bam as the number one option. That's not realistic. So what does Miami Heat need to do? Well, we have Ware. That's great. We've got a front court figured out. Got to find a wing. Got to find a shooting guard who can be that superstar type player. And I haven't looked up the entire draft yet. I've heard about the guy Bailey. We know about Cooper Flag. Is it realistic that Miami's going to get them? Probably not, because they're obviously trying to still compete and get in the playoffs and make a playoff run. I don't think that's realistic, especially if you move up Jimmy Butler. But again, I just like the fact that Ware has been getting playing time because you're building towards the future. You're committing to your rookie class. And then if I'm the Heat, when it comes to Jimmy Butler, trade him for some pieces. I would look at draft picks this coming up draft in 2026 and 27 draft just to, either stockpile them for a future trade for a superstar or you develop another guy. Now, remember this. I mentioned Bam Adebayo. Don't think he won't demand a trade at some point if things aren't moving forward with the Heat. If he has to find himself in situations where he's the number one option, fans are getting at him, he might be unhappy eventually. And I guarantee you one team that could, again, this is just a prediction. This is not a rumor, but a team like the Celtics. And the reason why I bring up my team because Horford's going to retire. And there's going to be a time where Boston's going to have to do a little bit of a rebuild around Tatum and Brown because they're going to have a questionable front court. I mean, you're going to trust Cornette, Kada, and Tillman? No, I don't trust that front court. Porzingis, he can't stay healthy. Also, he's up for his contract ends next year in 2026, I believe. So we'll see what the Celtics do. So if Bam is unhappy and wants out of Miami, guess what? Tatum and Bam are really good friends. So we'll see. Again, that's just something I'm putting out there. I'm not saying that's going on, but it wouldn't surprise me if that does happen. If Miami doesn't take this serious and make sure they keep Bam happy and make sure that they're building a roster where he doesn't have to be the number one scoring threat. Because if they are in a situation where, I know Tyler Herro's taking the reins right now, but I think they still need a guy above Tyler Herro. Not to say Herro's a bad player, but if I'm in a series against the Nuggets, am I picking him or Jokic? No, I'm picking Jokic. Anthony Edwards or Tyler Herro, I'm picking Anthony Edwards. Luka, you get what I'm saying. You have to have a top 10 player that can compete with those guys. And if you don't have that on your roster, you got to go hunting. So Miami's in a little bit of an interesting situation, but I love the fact that Kel'el Ware has been getting playing time. I haven't watched much of it, really any of his games yet, so I got to lock in for that. But I'm just seeing him getting playing time. I'm happy to see that. I'm going to try to catch a Heat game this week so I can just see how he's playing out there, see how he's moving around. But this is a good sign. If Heat fans out there are concerned about the future, look, try to stay positive. I know it's been probably rough for you guys with Jimmy Butler's situation. And it seems like, man, it felt like this whole situation failed, but made 2 NBA finals. And at the end of the day, you went up against LeBron James and Nikola Jokic. I mean, who's beating those rosters? Probably nobody, to be honest, because they were so elite. And, you still competed. You did your job with signing free agents. So hopefully when Pat Riley moves off Jimmy, he goes back to the roots of, okay, yeah, we can draft guys, but we got to go after a superstar player and bring them in and make them our number one option. Because if they don't do that, I think Bam will be unhappy and just make things, toxic in Miami. You don't want to do that, especially if you can build a really strong foundation with Ware and Bam, because that would be if Ware becomes a problem, and I don't know I don't know if he could be a number one option. I don't know what his ceiling is, but I know he could be a really good role player. I know he can contribute, eventually maybe be a fringe all-star player. I don't know, but I think that could be a ceiling at some point. But you got to give him playing time. So good to see the Miami Heat doing that. Hopefully they can continue in this direction where if you got a guy in the summer league, just give them more playing time because I get like the whole G League situation. You want to develop them. But in this NBA, if you're trying to compete, you got to have guys out there who are showing you in the summer league, in the preseason, that they're ready to go. And where I think he's going to get better. And we'll see where it goes from here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Miami Heat giving Kel'el Ware more playing time. Are you a fan of it? Love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you in the next one.